themselves.
He disparaged his father, said he was responsible for the JFK assassination, disparaged his wife, suggesting that she was ugly, disparaged him, having the National Enquirer run an article saying that he had affairs with like 4 or 5 different women, constantly disparaged him. And yet he is now going out pushing Russian propaganda, and Susan Del Percio also continuing the Trump lie about it wasn't in the transcript. He said everything but, quote, the transcript was perfect, when, of course, we know it wasn't a transcript, first of all. And secondly, we know that even the White House's bleached version of that transcript, which wasn't a transcript, mentioned the Bidens and said, but I need you to do something for me as well. That summary of the phone call that Ted Cruz mentions is damning enough, has proven the Democrats' case. Of course, they spent 2 weeks having testimony to just add block by block by block to build that wall of impeachment. But what's Ted Cruz? Again, you just wonder how low these Republicans can go, how shameless they can be in defense of a man who not only would never defend them, but a man who viciously attacked his wife, viciously attacked his father, and viciously accused him of having an affair with 5 different women.
And Joe, it's even worse than just trying to go low to defend Donald Trump. The Republicans, and especially when you see someone like Ted Cruz going on the air, he is actually hurting our democracy. He is basically saying you cannot trust our military.
Our national security.
You cannot trust our national security. You cannot trust the basic foundations of which this country is built upon. And he's trying to make it a thing about process and this, and to your point about him, you know, what Donald Trump did to his family and to him, he doesn't care, and he's willing to go down this rabbit hole for Donald Trump, but it's much more significant than that. And we have to start looking at things like, it's kind of funny when we laugh at the flushing of the toilets and how many times, you know, Trump said it, and basically we know he's
15.
lying. But 15. But it's continuing on, and it's giving permission for this new environment, which is basically lying. We do not, there's no facts. They are lying to the American people, and they are not being held accountable for it, because they're also playing to basically conservative media and trying to get their, you know, kicks in, as far as I'm concerned. It's just pathetic.
Well, you know, what's interesting, Jonathan Lemire, is that often when somebody will say that a politician is hurting our democracy, as Susan Del Percio said, that could start a pretty heated debate, except for the fact in this case, the intel community went to the United States Senate and warned the United States Senate against using Russian propaganda talking points like Ted Cruz just did, and warned them that there was Vladimir Putin's goal as a KGB agent, ex-KGB agent, was to preach a moral equivalency between Russia and Ukraine, to get the world talking about Ukraine instead of what Russia did. And they said, they told the senators, this is a lie, but this is something that he's been doing over the past couple of years, and in effect saying, don't take the bait, because what will it do? It will help Putin, and it will hurt us. And yet, that's exactly what Ted Cruz and Senator Kennedy and so many others have done. And Jonathan Lemire, as you said, these Republicans that are spouting Russian propaganda got the good housekeeping seal of approval from the source himself, Vladimir Putin.
That's right. I mean, Senator Kennedy and Senator Cruz have been the most outspoken, perhaps, on this issue, but they're far from alone. Other Republicans have also sort of parroted at least portions of these talking points and backing up the president's belief that the Ukraine was involved with the 2016 election interference, when, of course, the entire U.S. intelligence community says it wasn't, that they were not involved, that it was Russia behind this. They've taken their cues from the president, who, not just in Helsinki, but other places, too, has time and time again not criticize Russia for doing for what they did, because he feels that, you know, it would sort of diminish his electoral victory in 2016 if he acknowledged there was outside help.
But Jonathan, it actually, at Helsinki, you know better than anybody because you asked the questions. I mean, the president chose to side with the ex-KGB agent instead of with U.S. intel agencies. And even just the past couple of weeks, what did Vladimir Putin say? Thank God people are talking about Ukraine instead of us. They can have good luck with that. So Putin is actually thanking these Republican senators in press conferences for spouting his propaganda and his lies. I wonder what the good people of Louisiana and Texas think about that.
Well, we certainly have seen polling that suggests Republicans have a more favorable view of Russia now than they ever have, because Donald Trump does. And you're right. I mean, in Helsinki, he was given the choice. Who do you believe? The United States intelligence agencies or Russia? And he chose Russia. And we had, yes, as you just said a few weeks ago, Putin in a rare public press conference suggesting that this is a good thing. The heat's off us now. People now are talking about Ukraine being the one to meddle in the election, not Russia. And let's also set it going forward.
Yeah.
This is also going to, all these talking points from the president, from these senators, this just makes it harder for the U.S. to defend it from happening again. This makes it that much easier for Russia to interfere with the 2020 elections, too. And we know the president at times has suggested he would welcome the outside help.
And throwing away our national security and anything else for the sake of trying to win, this devaluing of the truth, the twisting of the truth, Donnie, on top of it, along with impeachment, Republicans and the Trump campaign are going to use in the run-up to the election. They're going to use these lies to try and win the election again, and I worry it could work.
Well, here's the way it is working. You know, they did a study as far as talking to people who get exclusively their news from Fox. 55% of those people said that there is nothing Donald Trump could do that would take him out of office, versus 29% who get their news from kind of a broader thing. They don't care. I want to just go back to Ted Cruz as a man for a second. Joe, you grew up in Pensacola. I grew up in Queens. What would your reaction be if somebody came after your father, if somebody came after your wife? And, you know, the pathetic weeniness of him. I couldn't wait to run against a guy like that and say, what kind of man not only lets it happen, but then gets on the bandwagon of somebody who went after their dad, who went after their wife, called their wife ugly. Joe, I know you're a very genteel man in Pensacola. They just debate things in a very nice way. How would you handle it as a politician if somebody came after your family?
If somebody attacked my family, if somebody attacked my father and wife, I would spend the rest of my life actually focused on destroying their political career. I mean, I just would. I'd have no choice. That's just
the way it is. That's what a man does.
You know, Mika, you've heard me say time and time again that, and I've learned as I get older, you do turn the other cheek. You ignore as many things as you can ignore. But yeah, it remains a mystery to me how Ted Cruz could lie and spout Russian propaganda for a man, in defense of a man who attacked his own daddy, and who attacked his wife, who caused pain to his wife by pushing a lie in the National Enquirer that Ted Cruz was having an affair with 5 different women. I mean, he knows Donald Trump was responsible for that lie. And yet here he is pushing another lie, but this isn't just Donald Trump's lie. It's Vladimir Putin's lie, and it remains and will remain a mystery to me why any man would so blindly serve and just be a lemming for someone who so viciously attacked his own family.
For what?